Good day, everybody. How's it going out there? Well, we've gotten through another year. Another crazy year, another crazy time. And here we are at the end of it. Growth continued to slow this year, but basically it seems like after the whole corona rebound thing, things are actually starting to settle into a more reasonable growth. Last year, the growth for all attendees in the worldwide combined was about, 30,000-ish. This year it was only 10. And also, a lot less volatility in the top 8. The people who started the year at the top 8 this year remain in the top 8 at the end of this year. Unlike last year, where we had biggest little Furcon, and I think it was also Denver who were in the top 8 who fell off of the top 8. And ironically, I don't even think either of them are in the top 10 anymore. So they continue to slow and stagnate and kind of teeter out while others challengers start to come up. The ones in 9th and 10th place are basically new to being in 9th and 10th place, and is kind of like surprising results to me. Nordic FuzzCon is in number 10. So a non-American furry convention is rising in the ranks. And if that one's from Sweden. And the other one is another furry convention. I think it was called Another Furry Con. Yeah, it was in Ontario, California, which another furry nonfiction person got a little confused. I was a little confused too. I'm like, Ontario, Canada? Like Ontario, CA? And it's like, no, it wasn't Ontario, Canada. It was Ontario, California. It's a Southern California convention, basically replacing one that had replaced SoCal, SoCal Fur Cons that had issues back in 2017 that we had previously covered on this channel. So it's only on its second year, but it's now in the top 10. So like biggest little fur con, maybe it's going to rise the ranks really quick. But who knows? We keep track of the top 8 on this channel. So another furry con was very close to getting number 8 and taking it away. From the 8th place slot. It was like within 100 attendees, around 100 attendees. It was crazy. So, that being said, with this year being less tumultuous, let's take a look at the numbers and the numbers next year. But the big news story this year is Furry Weekend Atlanta is officially number 2. Yes, that's right. Midwest Fur Fest continues to slow in its growth. It's a holiday convention. It's at the end of the year. People get really busy at this time of year with, jobs, retail, even in IT. Like there's the end of the fourth quarter is always like people always stack everything up into the last minute and people rush. And that rush is felt in the holiday season. But plenty of furs and plenty of people still enjoy the festivities of Furry Weekend Atlanta, and I don't see it. It's obviously not going to fall out of the top 8 anytime soon. It's still above 15,000 folks, and it'll probably remain that way. And as you note, the distance between number 1 and number 8 is pretty far. Like the 8th largest convention is just over 5,000 attendees at this point, which is crazy to think of. Given that, back in 2015, like that convention seemed to have like less than 1,000 attendees for Anthro New England. So like anyone can grow and anything can happen. But Furry Weekend Atlanta, like for its 2024 year, had explosive growth. Like it is the largest increase in attendance in convention ever recorded. And that's still the case today. But now it has the number 2 slot. Now I added projections to this. I don't think the projections it doesn't look like they got caught in this particular thing. Currently, maybe I need to like change that to 2026. Let me take a look at it live for a moment. But But basically, like it is in number 2. I don't think it's projected to surpass Anthrocon next year at the current rate, but let me double check. Furry Weekend Atlanta. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, I did mess that up. Okay, no, it is estimated. Okay, well, that's interesting. Maybe I should go this year. Yeah, let me delete that out of there and see if that fixes the problem. Unfortunately, this is the one time I decided to take a static photo. Yeah, okay. Well, what I'm going to do really quick and do this live is I'm going to switch this over to... I'm going to switch this over to the live thing because I messed up. Where is... Here we are. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a window capture, and I don't have a window capture on this. Great. Window capture. Okay. There we go. All right. So now I'm looking at the live sheet. So as you can see here, with the projections of 2026, so currently in 2025, it goes Anthrocon, Furry Weekend Atlanta, Midwest Fur Fest, far and away the top 3 running. Like the distance between them and the next person down is huge. And that's the 2025 line. Midwest Fur Fest, Megaplex, the Florida convention, surpassed 10,000 attendees. So now there are 4 conventions with more than 10,000 attendees every year. So this chart here shows the 2025 results, right? And you can see Megaplex just breaching that 10,000 attendees thing. Given the simple projections of deltas just between the year, which obviously doesn't always capture it accurately, but given that that's just my normal projection means the projected motion here is that Furry Weekend Atlanta in 2026 may become the largest furry convention in the world. And given its proximity to an airport, well, same with Midwest Fur Fest, honestly. The only one that's kind of weird and doesn't have an airport really nearby is Anthrocon, but it definitely is a cultural center of the Midwest. Of the Midwest. Like Pittsburgh is very much like one of the gateway cities to the Midwest, and I think furries are big in that particular zone. But I think, for Atlanta is pretty easy to get to, even though it's in the South, and there's a lot of Southern furries who consider it their home convention. There is a very much thriving furry presence in the Southeast as well, and that is typically their home convention and the one that they go to every year. And it appears that is growing quite a bit, especially given that Florida also is in that same district, and Megaplex is also growing pretty rapidly in that area. So like Anthrocon and Anthrocon serves like the eastern side of the Midwest. Midwest Fur Fest serves the western side of the Midwest. The Furry Weekend Atlanta and Florida like definitely serve the southeastern furries. And then you have, your other ones like Furry Fiesta, which I believe is in Texas. So your mid-southern things. And as I said, further confusion is for Northern California, and another Furry Con, as I said, is in 10th place this year. or I think it's a ninth. It's a ninth. Sorry. Another FurryCon is in ninth place, and it's coming up really fast. Is in Southern California, so it's very much like there definitely is becoming an establishment per region for furry conventions. And obviously Eurofriends is European, and then but that's like the middle of Europe, like where Nordic FuzzCon is for more of the Slovenia and Slavonic, but it does also serve the European area. But not the same European area as like Eurofriends. So there's not a lot of redundancy in the places in which these reside. And obviously Anthro New England serves the north east corridor, the Northeast Atlantic corridor with the major metropolitan areas such as Boston, and then of course New York City and stuff like that. But ironically, it's like there is no other major convention near New York City, so like obviously the New England one is representing the quote unquote New England area, obviously. So what we're seeing is geographical influences primarily, I believe. I believe Furry Weekend Atlanta, it's not a bad con. It's not too hard to travel to. Delta Airlines hub is in Atlanta, and so there's a lot of connecting flights, and like it's a major airport hub. And that airport does have a decent public connection to downtown via their subway line. So not difficult to travel to. I've done it once. Even though I almost fumbled even that. Which was kind of funny. I was like I called it one frame rule away from missing my flight, which was fun. My legs were tired when I got on that plane, but like I literally got to the subway and the doors, like the train was sitting there when I was on the, going down the stairs, and like I got onto the subway car just as it was about to leave. And if I had missed that subway car, I would have missed the flight for sure. So it was an interesting experience. Need to plan better. But I also obviously there's the top 10. I'm still my main staple right now is Vernal Equinox, which is a really, really nice travel method from where I'm particularly residing right now. And so I think I'll always attend that one every year, but obviously I want to try to attend others next year, and maybe Furry Weekend Atlanta is going to be one of them. Maybe I'm going to have to get another work commissioned prior to it, just in case. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Still, one of the things I'm very proud of is the when Midwest Fur Fest got number 1 in 2017, I had basically an article written and ready to go and published, just needed the numbers. And then I hit the numbers and I hit go, and it stumbled a bit, and then I hit go again and it got up there. So it was basically, I had an art piece commissioned, I had everything written, everything was pre-planned. I just wrote 1 or 2 paragraphs while at the convention. Very, very much one of the works, one of my favorite works that I've done. Hope maybe next year I can do something like that again. So, good job this year, guys. And also not too many big drama moments or anything like that. Just pretty much normal ticket fare. Obviously we talked about in the previous video, Midwest Fur Fest, and the situation they had to deal with, and it was not truly unique, but obviously people are a lot more wary about attending American conventions, and I think that might be also sort of part of the stagnation of growth this year, is that it is the first year since new people have taken office, and a lot of foreign furries are a little more wary of travel to the United States in order to attend American conventions. So obviously American conventions might stymie out a little bit, but it looks like other places in the world are rising to shine, such as Eurofriends, continuing to grow, and Nordic FuzzCon, and others, as we've covered on this channel. A lot of smaller conventions are also cropping up and dealing with their own senses of adversity. And hopefully those ones continue to go. So that's this year's numbers. Looking forward to next year. We'll see if Furry Weekend Atlanta can do it. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Kick that like, kick the subscribe button, kick a comment in the comment section, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.